Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking your time to be in our midst this morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning, Nikki.
Yeah, Mary, my mayor.
Morning.
Yeah.
Morning.
Thank you all. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Morning.
Thank you for taking your time to be in our midst this morning. We really appreciate you. We thank you. Why are we here this morning? We are here how to kick against hate crime. So we're going to discuss about it. I think by the end of the day, we will all learn one thing or the other, how to move our community forward. So hate crime is a major enemy. Why must we hate when we can all live in love, peace, and harmony? There is an adage that says, do unto other as you wish they do to you. Live and let other live. Therefore, collectively this morning, we are going to give hate a kick. So collectively this morning, we are all going to give hate a kick. Can we all kick, please? Just kick. Yeah. So we open this meeting now, and let's have a great time. Thank you very much. We appreciate you all. We love you all to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, everyone. It's really nice to have you. My name is Sandra Lawal, so I'll be your host and your, yes, I'll be your host and moderator of today's event. So without further ado, can we please welcome our own mayor?
Yeah.
Chancellor Sharing, please. Thank you so much, and let's listen to him. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Councillor Billy Shearing, and I'm the Mayor of Rochdale, and it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all today to this virtual meeting on a very serious and real-life tragedy, which is hate crime. I want to give a special thanks to Nikki from Caring and Sharing for inviting me along to today's event. Yes. Alongside Caring and Sharing today, we have also representatives from Rochdale Safer Community Partnership, Tell Mama UK, Beautiful Minds, Hailing High School, Greater Manchester Police and the Rochdale Council. And you're all very welcome, and we very much appreciate you joining us. Now, what are hate crimes? And what are hate incidents? Hate incidents and hate crimes are acts of hostility and violence directed at people because of who they are or who someone thinks they are. There is now an understanding and a common definition of hate incidents that have been motivated by hostility and prejudice based on one of the following 5 things: disability, race, religion, transgender identity, and sexual orientation. Now, everyone knows that a criminal offence is something which breaks the law of the land. When hate incidents become criminal offences, they are then known as hate crimes. Now, I may be beginning to give you the impression that I am an authority on hate incidents and the more serious issues that are hate crimes, but I'm not really. I only know the definitions between the two, and how one, sadly, can lead to the other. Today I will listen and learn from you all on something that society needs to address because of the misery that it causes and the lives it can destroy. So now I'm going to hand you back to the chair and ask you if I can say a few words at the end of the session, if that's possible. Okay? Thank you. I could sing a song, but I won't.
Sing a song, Major. Sing the song.
Are you struggling? That's not a song, that's my mobile phone making a noise.
All right, let's give you the power to do that. All right, 1 minute, Mayor.
You want me to say something else, do you? Hate crime has gone on and hate incidents all our lives, and it's rather a sad issue. It's not a sad issue, it's a tragic issue, as I said before. I mean, when I was little, I can remember that we had a lot of prejudice and lots of hatred, and it was caused by religion. Now, I'm a Roman Catholic, and Roman Catholics were not very well welcome with the Church of England. We are both Christian bodies, but for some strange reason, we hated one another. Now, that was rather a stupid thing, because we're all preaching and praising the same God. So what was all that about? We're all individuals, but there was them and us. Now, what's them and us? Them and us is the start of everything going wrong. You know what I mean? It's important that we understand and love our neighbours. If we don't love our neighbours, we've lost the plot. But it's important that we stand together and fight what we call prejudice and hatred. No one is born with prejudice. Someone or someone along the line has influenced you into a prejudicial thinking, and that is wrong. We should all make our own minds up, and we should all understand that the person at the side of us is just as important as what we think we are. So it's really, really important that we stand together and fight this horrible, horrible thing which is called hate crime. So can I hand on to somebody else now, please, Nikki?
Yes, Mayor, thank you very much. Can we all clap for our Mayor, please? We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor. It's nice having that. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, moving forward, can we have, okay, let me see if it's here. That's Reverend Charles. Yes? That's so, yes. Can we have you, please?
Great. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for the invitation from Nikki and Karen and Sharon to join you in your hate crime event. My name is Charles Kakodwe. I'm a minister, but also Chief Officer for the Caribbean and African Health Network, and work with the Caribbean and African community right across Greater Manchester. And just to echo the words of our distinguished mayor, it's great that we have 75 people on the call. All of us committed to, in principle, to challenging hate crime. I think we all know the events of last summer and the resurgence of Black Lives Matter. And for those who may not be aware, coincidentally, this week as well is Race Equality Week. So, there's lots of activity on social media. But I think, what we saw last year was solidarity from people of all ethnicities and backgrounds, challenging and being proactive in saying, the unfortunate killing of George Floyd is not acceptable. And then it opened up a whole lot of conversation about, how people have faced different barriers. And, right here in Greater Manchester, I know, many organizations, including CAN, we're working with our police force. So right from encouraging people from different ethnicities to apply for various roles within the police force, because that's the only way we can ensure that, the organization is rich in culture and understanding of different communities, and that will make policing a lot better. So it's great to see everyone else, and I'm looking forward to the other speakers and looking forward to learning something new. But once again, thanks everyone, for taking time and showing your support. It means that there are many more, of us who have, a common objective of challenging all forms of, racism and discrimination. And I think it was just last week, we all know there was celebration of Holocaust Memorial Day, and it's really interesting what our mayor referred to about how Catholics were treated. So, racism, discrimination comes in all shapes and forms. And so we all need to be mindful of our own personal prejudices and biases when we're dealing with other people. And we need to make sure we're seeing the humanity and, of people first before their color, before the fact that they don't have English as a first language, before their religious or political affiliation. And I think by so doing, we can all celebrate and honor one another. So thanks again to Nikki and Karen and Sharon for the invitation and for putting on this event. And great to see many of you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Charles. Thank you. It's nice having you with us. Before we move forward, can I just please ask, if you are not speaking, can you please mute yourself so that there's no distraction from everybody. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. So moving swiftly, we have our past event. We just want to show you a clip from our past event. So please stay tuned and enjoy it. Thank you.
Campaign has been developed in consultation with the Crown Prosecution Service, the Independent Advisory Group on Hate Crime, and other organizations to help public understand hate crime, particularly offenses which often people do not recognize as criminal, such as some forms of online and verbal abuse.
Hi, my name is Carlo. I work for the Rochdale Council in the community safety team. We have just been commemorating Hate Crime Awareness Week, and I had the privilege to attend 3 community events, and today I was at Caring and Sharing's Hate Crime Awareness Week event. And we just remember that hate crime is a really challenging crime that affects a person because you're being attacked for your identity, whether it's because of your ethnicity, your religion, your sexual orientation, your sexuality, or your disability. And we need to make sure that we stamp out hate crime so that it doesn't happen again, that we do not tolerate any form of hate crime. But the long goal is this: let's end hate, full stop. Let's make sure people do not hate each other at all. And if we need to report it to make that voice heard, that we don't tolerate hate crime, so be it. Hopefully, we don't always have to report it, but we can talk to each other to end hate and reduce the prejudice. But if you're being affected by a hate crime or you witness a hate crime, please report it, whether it's a hate incident, a verbal abuse, or somebody committing a hate crime in the form of a physical attack of your property or a physical attack. If you're a bystander, help the victim, report the incident, or just be there for them.
Talking about hate crime awareness with their members and the local community. Near Neighbours facilitated a discussion on what is hate crime, why does it come about, and what we can do as community groups to overcome the challenges of hate crime. So all the groups came up, there was about 30 of us today, they came up with really good solutions in terms of coming together, raising the awareness, and some community projects that will eliminate hate crime.
Well, today has been wonderful. We have AIDS crime awareness. This is the week, I think started last week, for AIDS crime awareness. And caring and sharing, we are not left behind, because we think it's a good thing to talk about AIDS crime in the community. And the people, it's amazing, the people that turned up, because we have a diverse community.
This week, from 3rd to 9th of February, is Hate Crime Awareness Week, with charities like Caring and Sharing organization in Rochdale holding workshops to train ambassadors against hate crime.
Happening in schools, it must be.
In our community as well.
Stop Hate UK. Spread love, not hate.
Thank you so much. We should spread love, not hate, and that's the message from us. And I'm sure everybody here we know how to share love, because as Nikki was saying at the beginning, that do unto others what you want to be done to you. So that's the message. So right now, as we are moving swiftly, I have guest. I'll call her a guest in this section. She's one of us. I mean, the young people project that we're running in Karen and Sherry, we call them heroes and sheroes. So she's one of our heroes. She's one of our sheroes. She's an amazing young lady, and she's just awesome. So I'm not going to steal her thunder. I just want her to come and give us a poem. And please, let's make welcome Anita Ogude. Thank you. Anita.
Thank you so much for having me. So as already mentioned, I'm Anita. I'm not 16 anymore. I'm 17 now. And this poem is actually one I wrote when I was in about year 9, and it's discussing and kind of unpacking what hate crime is to me on a self-hate type of level, looking at how I felt with language such as English, Irish, as I'm Irish and I'm also Nigerian, but my first language is Gaelic, but also English. So it's always been a really confusing thing with me, and it led to a lot of self-hate. So this is what this poem kind of looks at. So, do you like the way I speak? Does my use of laborious words intimidate you? Does the rhythm in my voice undermine you? Does the clarity in my speech unnerve you to the core? Does it leave you wondering what on earth a girl of my colour speaks like that for? And yet, even with your utter disgust, you keep coming back for more. Does my penmanship row you? Does my way with words enrage you? Are my use of sophisticated sentence formation strange to you? Is my intonation and volume maddening as it's perfect from public speaking, which is the last thing you ever wanted from my race you left bleeding? So why are you astonished? You brainwashed me with your perfect English and our native tongues you abolished. So now I use what was meant to oppress you to speak my truth and be free. But the most asked question isn't about what I speak, but actually how I speak and why my friends don't speak like me. So I don't care if you don't like the way I speak. I don't care if it makes you feel beneath. The years I felt that was shame on you. How dare you make me feel like you, but not too much, because I'd be too educated, not too soon. You shan't speak in such a manner, you're just throwing on works in this banner. Ah yes, you don't speak your native tongue, our work here is made whole. And don't try to brush up on your English to make up for your incapability. That's a hole that you won't ever be able to fix because we've taken your soul. But my name is Anita, a name of Sanskrit origin, which is the oldest language of our time. And my name is Osa Senega, a name of Bengali origin, my mother's native tongue. And although those things can be taken from me and my Gaelic tongue is starting to fade, do not underestimate me. My education is beyond syntax and present participles, and I know that is the worst of your fears. Thank you.
Please, let's appreciate Anita. Let's appreciate her. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Anita. I enjoyed that poem. I think that's the second time I'm listening to that poem, so it's amazing. Every time I listen to it, it just makes me to understand that, everybody has got, our accent and all that. So thank you so much for that poem.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Samia. I have an organisation based in Bury called Supporters Sisters. I'm going to just tell you a little bit of a background of how our group came about. It was a time where I had attended an event at the police station in regards to hate crime and hate incidents. And from there, it kind of I think most people have been a victim of hate crime or incident, even if it's the smallest thing. The majority of us here would have been through that, whether it's in the workplace or whether it's just walking past in your neighborhood. I've been through it, and I've always bypassed it. I've always kind of let it go over my head. Obviously, attending meetings at the police station, I wanted to make a change in our hometown, and from there, I created Supporting Sisters. Now, my aim was not to have it for the minority. I wanted to have it so big where it was open to everyone, where we're challenging hate crime, hate incidents, where we're breaking the barriers and moving forward, as opposed to constantly dwelling on what's happened. And it will continue to happen until we make the change ourselves. I'll give you an example of the time where I've been obviously a victim of it, and it was just last year. It was where my neighbour, he was talking to one of my other neighbours who's obviously next door to me. And my next door neighbour is Irish, and I get on with him like a house on fire. And at this one moment, I wasn't actually there. And my neighbour had told me, neighbour A, should we call him, I don't like mentioning names, has used the word packy. And I was thinking, oh, because I wasn't here, I won't raise it. But I have such good neighbours. When we were all outside at this one point, he actually, my Irish neighbour, he raised it in front of me, saying, oh, Sam, this is what he's turned around and said. So it was a bit of a situation where, how do I deal with it? And my approach, in the past, if I'm being honest, I've always got angry and upset, and I've just kind of like brushed it under the carpet. Although I'd want to say so many things to a person, I never did. I think it's because I probably just didn't have the confidence then. But with my neighbour who actually called me, I actually spoke to him and I actually asked him, I said, why did he say that? And it wasn't in an aggressive manner or anything. I just wanted to get to the bottom as to why he thought it was okay to use that word for me in such a manner. And his actual answer was that I don't know. I just don't know. It was just a shrug of the shoulders. And I just explained to him, we're all the same. It doesn't make a difference whether what colour you are, what religion background, whether you have one or not. And he actually felt embarrassed more than anything else. But in the process, I did educate him about this is not how we live in this area, this is not how it works. We were doing a Ramadan street iftar, which one of my other neighbours said, don't be going knocking on his door and give him food. And I said, no. I said, I will be knocking on his door. And when I did knock on it, I said, here you go, here's some food. And he was kind of a little bit shocked. I said, no, what happened that day, it's gone. It's water under the bridge. We've overcome it. It's time to build a friendship rather than talking about the past. So that's one of the things that I've kind of been through and how I dealt with it without even involving the police. Obviously, if you can manage it, that's perfectly fine. Obviously, if you can't and you feel too upset to approach somebody and discuss the matter. I worked for the Diocese of Salford, and within my own culture, my community, I've had a couple of people kind of say, oh, you know, you're working there. And I looked at them and I said, I don't care. I said, I'm there to do a job. I said, that's not going to change who I am as a person. And for me, it's all about unity. I couldn't care which colour you are, what background you are. And it's one of the things that I highlight in my organisation, where we're open to everybody. My actual organisation is to do with mental health, domestic violence. And I think any woman from any background goes through it. So moving onwards, I think it's really important to show people, it's teaching people, educating people of how to actually, it's normal, it's fine. This is how it works in your communities. You work together, you sit together, you eat together. And it's really important that we show this to our children. Like obviously the mayor said, it's not that you're not born with it. It's what you as a parent, I believe strongly that you teach your children from home. And again, is outside what they learn as well. But down, I think the root of it all is down to your parenting skills as well. And what you teach your child, it's normal to have friends of different colour, friends of different faiths. It's absolutely normal. So I think it stems from home. So if you're teaching your child from scratch, this is the way the world is, your child further on think it's okay, the generations will change. So it's down to us as groups and now grassroots organisations that we do have to make that change and make a difference.
So much, Samia. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, we need to teach our children. It starts from home. and that you can't give what you don't have. So it has to start from you as a person, as a parent, as individual. It starts with you. So it's what you have inside of you that you'll be able to give to somebody else. So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. Can we have a lady? There's a lady in our midst here. She's been a victim of hate crime, and she's ready to share her story.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me, please? Good morning. My name is Tawasal. I came into Rochdale 9 years ago, and when I was coming, and I heard from somebody that was telling me that, oh, this is a Muslim community area, and I was so happy to have come to Rochdale. But unfortunately, as a black lady, also a Muslim, I was so sad with all the experience I had with my children during my first 3-4 years in Rochdale. Yes, when I got settled, I was happy because I got a mosque very close to my house, and I always attend that mosque because every Friday prayers I always go there. I got my little kids; they were under 5. I got 3 children, and I would take them down to the mosque. But I noticed it's not just that look that they got in them. They will sit down, stare at me, let me know that, oh, I'm staring at you, I don't like you. That kind of a that people look at you. And they want to go around and play with other children like that. And all of a sudden they will grab their children and put their children in between their laps so that their own children will not be able to move. Talk less of playing with my children. So they've been doing that in the mosque, and I was ignoring them. So there was a time I noticed that if we want, before we pray, the imams in the mosque, they will preach and talk to everyone, on everything. And when there is prayer time, we will all stand up to pray. And I will notice this lady, she will bring her bag, and, I'm not even sitting next to her, but she will come to my place and bring her back to demarcate. She will use her back to create a demarcation between me and her, which is not supposed to be done in the mosque. We have to stand next to each other while praying. But she has shown me that, oh, I don't want you. You don't belong to this mosque. Then when this thing happening, and I started complaining to the 1 or 2 ladies, I think they are one of the executives in the mosque. So I had to leave the mosque with my children. Then I moved down, Nelly Mosque, then Kashmir Mosque. I moved down to Kashmir Mosque. I was doing the same, going with my kids, praying. But later on, there is this elder lady as well. She will look at the children, she will look at me, why are you here? Sometimes they don't tell you, but when you see them, you read what they are thinking in their mind. And all of a sudden, she comes to me, why are you here? Why do you bring the children here? I said, oh, we are here to pray. She said, no, you could have left your children at home, that in the mosque, they don't bring kids in the mosque. I said, why? I said, in my country, my parents take me to mosque from little age, and that is why I could learn from them. If we don't take children to mosque, how would they know? How would they learn? When they were listening, when you see them playing around, they are listening to us. When they say Allah Akbar, they might not say it along with you, but they are memorizing all those things. So this is where children start learning. But she said, no, you see, no children. And she was arguing with me, and I see it as, oh, no, this is not what I expected from. There were Haitians, and they think, oh, they got everything. You are not part of them. I so much love Asian people. When I see them, I smile, I'm happy. I have my Haitian neighbors. They are Pakistani. My neighbor next to me here, they are very lovely. But something else I've been seeing in the past 6, 7 years, it's totally different from my neighbors. You know, I was at the show start. I always go to the show start, take my children down to the show start, and you know what happened? These ladies will come, just that is, children will play along and everything. And at the end of the day, you see, when the children are playing, you see in a particular place, you see 2, 3 children playing together. And when my children join in, and what they do, they just stand up and grab their children away from my children. Oh, and they will tell them, told you not to play with this black, they use that F word, fucking black. No, don't play with these fucking black children. And I was like, what? Why are these people doing this to us? This is just that. At first I wasn't talking, and I would just go with my children, take them around and all that. And every time they see me in the short start, they think, oh, she has come again. She wants to take all over, that kind of feeling. And they started grouping themselves among me, and they started calling me, hey, excuse me, are you Muslim? Sometimes I put on my hijab, and sometimes I put on just scarf. As a Muslim, I don't open my hair, but I go there, put on my hijab. Because when I see them using hijab, I think we are one. We are the same. That's the look I have. Every one of us are one. Even Christians, I appreciate them, you understand? But I don't discriminate among people. When I meet you, I like you. That is me. But these so-called ladies are trying to create enmity amongst the, shows me that, oh, you are not belong here. Oh, this is so sad, for God's sake. And they were like, oh, no, they pack themselves once if my children and their children were inside, and they will move outside. And if children, they just, when they see others, they move along. And if the children goes outside, they pick up their children and comes inside, I started saying this to the show staff manager, oh, bless her, Sharon, she's so lovely. And I said, oh, Sharon, what is all that? And you know what? After some years, maybe after 2 years, then I happened to be one of the volunteers of, I was volunteering for Talk English. Talk English is for basic, it's just a basic English learning and all that. And I was posted to this same show start here because I love the children. And then I was being posted, and the first day I was to meet my learners. Everyone was in the hall, we were waiting, and I got my coordinator with me, and she came, she stood up, she said, okay, okay, guys, today is our first day, we'll all introduce ourselves and she introduced me, she said, oh, this is your teacher, Tawakal. She will be taking care of teaching you guys and for social weeks, and she left. You know what happened? Amongst my learner, there was this lady from the show start. So when she realized, when she first saw me, she thought, oh, maybe I came to learn as well. I'm one of them, I'm a learner as well. So she started grumbling, talking, try talk and doing that. But when my coordinator announced me as the teacher, she was shocked. I saw that shock in her eyes, and I was like, I smiled. Inside me, I smiled. So she was shocked. She couldn't say anything. She was not happy. The first 2 weeks, I see that thing in her that she feels so like, oh, I have made a mistake. But you know what I did? Later on, after some weeks, I realized she was struggling. So I had to put her next to me. I started talking to her. Later on we became friends, and she later apologized to me that she was so sorry. And now, when we meet outside in town, maybe Rochdale or Park now,
what we want to do, we have some students from Felinge High School. And while they are here, we want to like having a panel. We want to make it like a panel. I can see some of them already. With what this lady has experienced, you as a young person, how do you feel? Statement, please. Thank you. So I see Kazi. So let's have your opinion. Let's have your, what you think about. So you can have a conversation within yourself. If you want me to put in a breakout room, I can quickly do that. Then we want you to discuss it. How do you feel? What will you do if you are in our shoes? And moving forward, what do you think should be the right thing? What do you think if your mom or if you are in a position and you see somebody, going through that, what will you do? Will you stand up for, because of this crime? So we want you to quickly have a discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's for the Felinge.
Libby, do you want to say something? Discuss how you felt and what you think we could do better?
Yes, I'd be really sad because they don't like you and they start calling you black out of nowhere just because you went somewhere, and you just go to a religion place, which is a mosque, and then you just stop praying, and then they start making fun of you, saying that you're black, and I feel really sad.
Anicia, Aisha, or Libby? I know Libby, you've put something in the chat. Olivia.
Myself, I have never experienced anything like that. But it's definitely disgraceful that when you try
often, and I feel like Islam's all about welcoming other people, joining as brothers and sisters, and as they didn't act in that behavior, they just pushed you out, when Islam's about accepting each other as for what they are. I feel like that's just ironic.
I felt sort of angry when she was talking about her experience at the mosque, because the mosque is a place of worship, peace, and like Kiza said, you shouldn't be made fun of because of your colour, which you have which you can't control. You didn't choose what colour you were when you were born. It isn't your fault, so they shouldn't really be making fun out of you, especially in the mosque, which is a place where everyone should be peaceful and they're all one.
I feel disappointed in the people that were saying derogatory language to someone's child in front of her, and I feel like that's not right, as they're saying it in a place of worship, which some people find important, and she's trying to teach her children.
I think she did the good thing by teaching her children, but she shouldn't get said stuff like that, because everyone is equal and they all have the rights to live and live peacefully.
Thank you. Is there anybody from Felinge who would like to say what we're doing as a school to combat hate crime through our RFK work and our values? Is there anybody brave enough just to share very quickly with the panel the work we're doing at school?
In True to Time, we actually talk about how everyone is equal, and we actually look at real life experiences to show what's happened. And I think everyone that learns it, in my form, it'd be really understand that it's not right what's going on in the hate crime. And I think our school doing that is really good, because then we actually learn what's good and what's not.
Well done, Dina. Does anybody want to share our values as a school? There are three values that really link into how we're trying to combat hate crime. Go on then, Olivia.
We try to focus on being kind, being responsible, and taking positive action.
Thank you, Olivia. We are actually going to get some pupils trained up to be active bystanders. I know somebody mentioned it might have been Samia, who mentioned about being a bystander, and we know we can all be passive, and we by ignoring it or not knowing how to handle crimes that are happening around us, we're actually complicit in those crimes. Thank you, Fairlinge pupils. Thank you for contributing.
Thank you so much, Fairlinge ambassadors. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you so very much. And we've heard from our young people. One thing we should know is that we should all love. Is the basis of life. Is love. When you give out love, you receive love back. That's the way it is. When you give out hatred, you get hatred back. And you don't want your children to go through what our children have gone through. So please, let's be careful, especially with the parents, what we say before our children. When we bring somebody, when you put somebody down before your children, definitely your children are going to, relate or react to that person based on what you say in their presence. So moving swiftly, I have Imam now. I'm sure Imam is here with us. Imam Christy, please, yes, it's your turn, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everybody. It's just gone 12:01. First and foremost, I want to say how honoured I am that I'm being part of this fantastic event. I'm really sorry I didn't get to see and hear the students there, but I gathered we had some brilliant testimonies from the young people. So well done, and thank you to Fairlinge High pupils for that presentation. Look, what can I say about hate? I'm going to just give you one very, very simple verse, if I may, from the Holy Quran. And that is, for me, one of the guiding verses. I remember the very, very first time that I heard this verse, and I was a young teenager, and I thought, you know what, that's so amazing. It makes so much sense. We have got so much diversity and difference in our world, okay? So much difference. We've got people with so many different colors, so many different languages. It's just phenomenal, right? But why? Why do we have so much difference? And this is when I came across this word. It's chapter 49, and it's verse number 13, okay? And it's so important. It goes like this. From amongst the many signs of God, he says that he's created you and me from a single pair, and that's Adam and Eve. And from that origin, from that creation, he created all different nations and tribes. Different nations and different tribes, different colors of skin, different languages, difference in its plethora. Then he answers this question about diversity and the purpose of it. And he says it in such a beautiful manner. And I'm going to say the Arabic phrase, if I may. He says the whole purpose of difference is li ta'arafu. Now, I know there's some Arab-speaking people on the call here. Some of the students might even speak Arabic. This word li ta'arafu is my guiding principle. And I think one that will totally, if we get it right and if we understand this concept, it just totally annihilates any form of hatred towards difference. Because what he says, the Lord Almighty, Allah, God Almighty says, the whole purpose of this difference is that me and you, whoever you are, can get to know each other, can get to understand each other. And that's the key thing, all right? And once we understand that, then hopefully, everything else can just be left behind. If we appreciate those differences and celebrate those differences and accept those differences, then we will get to know each other. We won't hate each other. We won't fight with each other. We won't cause those differences. So that's my simple message for you guys this morning and afternoon. I hope and pray that you will take that on board and you will do whatever you can to get to know each other. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Imam. Really appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
Thank
Yes, wish to. Can we have you, please, Iman from Tell Mama UK?
I'm here. Thank you so much, Sandra. And it's good to be here on this platform and hearing testimonies, first-hand testimonies from victims, but equally the stories from students. And I'm amazed to hear such stories, and amazed as well about how the different entities are really working on tackling hatred. So I come from an organization called Tell Mama. It stands for Measuring Anti-Muslim Attacks. It's a victim support service for victims of anti-Muslim hatred and Islamophobia. We provide support services in terms of emotional support, advocacy, lobbying, liaising on behalf of victims with police forces, but equally recording and monitoring the data in terms of the reports to enable policy-making police forces to understand the level of anti-Muslim hatred in the UK. But the ethos of the organization is the ethos that you've all been speaking about. It's the ethos of standing against all types of hatred, standing against all types of racism. And let's not forget that we all have intersectional identities. So each one of us carry multiple identities. And we have to cater the services and the support services to all of these identities. And one of the things I wanted to touch on is the element of the bystander and upstander that has been mentioned actually on the call already on this meeting. So we, within our work, one of the things that we always see when victims report into us is as much as they're impacted by the attack, the hate that they've had from the perpetrator, they're usually, and most of the time, impacted and heavily emotionally let down by the bystanders that are watching them being attacked. So i.e., you would have a victim that would report into us that would say, I was abused at the bus station. There were 15 people standing at the bus station, but no one came to check on me or to talk to me to see how I am. And this is the bystander, unfortunately, mentality. And it is important for all of us to take a part to stand against racism. It's not just the people who are subjected to racism, also the witnesses who witness any type of racism or hatred, for them to come forward and actually check on the victim, report that incident so that policy making and shaping as well can address this, report it to Tell Mama. And in terms of the work that we do, and specifically that we're talking about a young audience, we're talking about a younger generation. So we provide as well training sessions around how individuals can become more upstanders in society. But equally, as we know, the younger generation today are very much tech savvy, and they are usually the ones that actually are on smartphones. They are the ones that are on social media. We know today a lot of hate speech is taking place on social media. A lot of misinformation, fake news is taking place on social media, whether it's during the pandemic or pre-pandemic, but even more during the pandemic. And I call on all the younger generation, before sharing any information on social media, please check that that information is correct. Please verify that information through different sources. But equally, there's so many tools for you as well to debunk some of this misinformation and fake news by sharing the facts that are out there. It's something that we do in the organization, and would happily as well provide training sessions to the younger generation, as well as anyone who would like to know how to do this or to learn more about how to do this. We're happy to do so. But it is important in the current climate that we're in for us to actually make sure that any information that we share, whether it's on WhatsApp, on Snapchat, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, or any other platform, that before we share that information, please take the responsibility to verify it, ensure it's correct before you pass it on. Because one of the things that we always see is when we start sharing information that is not verified, one, we're spreading misinformation and fake news, but two, we're creating a level of fear within communities at a time when we all need to be kind of standing in solidarity together and assuring each other and reassuring each other. So it's very important to actually address this. And lastly, just one of the things to talk about in terms of what we see in terms of our data and in terms of the reports that we get within Tell Mama. So thankfully, and I say thankfully, that while we get so many reports reported into us, majority of these reports are abusive behavior in nature, i.e. people being abused while walking down the street, hate speech that is online. And thankfully, it's not physical attacks or threatening attacks on our streets. And I'm saying thankfully because while still it's bad to have racism on our streets, it's still bad to have hate crimes on our streets, thankfully we don't have the level of aggression that other countries have. Nevertheless, There's a lot of work that we need to do to address that abuse that we're receiving on our streets as well as on social media. And it's important for us to bring more awareness about communities. I heard magnificent stories about how people are tackling barriers and learning more about other cultures and about other religions. And that's very important, because a lot of these drivers sometimes around racism and hate crimes is sometimes ignorance. Sometimes people not knowing much about other communities or other religions. And education is a key part. Education is a key part in understanding and breaking barriers, in building dialogue across communities, faith communities and non-faith communities, as well as understanding what other communities go through. We very much saw, all of us during last year, the Black Lives Matter movement that brought to the highlight issues around diversity and inclusion and equality and justice. It's something that I think as well so many agencies are looking into today. They're checking really their equality and diversity and inclusion concerns, teams, as well as policies that they have in place, which is important. So it's kind of a wake-up call sometimes, that and a shaking that takes place in the system, that's like, oh my God, we need to look at things. But looking at things is not a tick box. Looking at things is not ensuring that we have a Black person on the panel or a Muslim person on the panel. No, it's about having and speaking to people and with people, and not about people. It's important for all communities to be around a table to discuss concerns that impact them. It's important for all communities from all backgrounds to be the ones that are feeding into policy. It is important for all of us to actually stand together in the current climate of the pandemic, but always against any type of racism and hatred that anyone can be subjected to, no matter what their identity is, no matter what their sexuality is, no matter what their faith is, no matter what their ethnicity is, and no matter what other ethnic characteristic they carry. Because one thing, and I'll end on this note, one thing we need to always think of is that if one of us is being attacked, it's all of us being attacked. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. And it's up and a responsibility of each and every one of us to continue to celebrate the diversity and pluralism of the society that we live in, but to stand against any inequalities and injustices that we see in our society. Thank you.
Yes, that's just it. Yes, it's part of us, characteristics. When you have, somebody gave one analogy some times ago, and the person said, if you go to your garden and you see only one color of plants or flowers, how it will be boring. But when you go to your garden and you see different colors of, of flowers, it will be beautiful. That's where we are. So we are different. We are from different ethnicity, but we are same because we are all human beings. That's just it. We are all human beings. It doesn't matter your color. It doesn't matter your language. We are all human beings, and we have so many things that bring us together. If only we can take the time to look closely. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you. So moving swiftly, can I have Councillor Janet? Ooh, that's my wonderful councillor. I just love her. I love her energy. I love her passion, and I love Councillor Janet. Can we have Councillor Janet, please? Thank you so much.
I'm not sure I can live up to that wonderful intro. I'm sorry I didn't join you right at the beginning. When I did join you, basically I was listening to a story from a lady, and then I heard the young people's responses after that. I was sad to hear the story, and I'm sure there are other experiences that have been there previously that that people have listened to that have made them feel the same. So basically, in this Hate Crime Awareness Week at the moment, and there is another one in October, so the thing is that every week should be a Hate Crime Awareness Week, because we should be looking to see how we can improve what our community is and how it is all the time. I haven't had the experiences that many of you have had for various reasons. The only small thing that I had was when I was younger, my mum and dad uprooted me from my perfectly wonderful life in Hull, and they brought me back to Rochdale, which is my birthplace. And I hated them for it because I had to leave all my friends behind. When I got to Rochdale, I was labelled as different. I had a different coloured uniform, had a very different accent, and I found that I was bullied quite a bit, but bullying is a different thing to the hate that we're talking about here. But it's the nearest thing that I've got to kind of identify. I was looking online to see if there were any insightful quotations that I could use today. And I was sad to see that there were so many quotes about haters. But I'm going to use the one that my daughter uses on her Facebook, which is haters gonna hate. That some people have so much energy that they put into the negative, that if they put it into the positive, there would be so much good in the world. It's sad that they spend their energy doing that. And whilst we can feel sorry for them for doing that, what we need to do is we need to spread the love. I just attended at the weekend the MacFest launch, and the hashtag is spread honey, not hate. It's spreading love and not hate that we should be doing. The young people, Anicia, Olivia, Ishmael, I can't say all your names because I'll miss somebody out and then you would be really upset. Your feelings, well done for putting them into words. Apparently my name in Urdu, Jannat, means heaven or paradise, which is probably why some people quite like me, because they think that I'm some kind of, lovely human being. I've got my shortcomings though, but I do try in all that I do to make sure that I spread love and not hate. We can use, as I said, all the various quotations from books, from poetry, from people. What I'd like to say is simply, I came in on this call and listened to a sad story. I saw young people who were basically what we need to think about for the future. That is our hope. That is our hope for the future. And in standing together, we will be one community. You know that I bang on about that. We are kind of several communities, but we are one community. And that is where I'd like to finish and say, spread love, not hate, one community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor. Oh, wow, amazing. Thank you so much. Spread love. We are all one community. That's the message. Spread love. And it's easy to spread love. You know, some people just hate you for nothing. So you can decide to love somebody just for no reason. Just love. That's it.
That's it.
Spread love. And we are one community. We have, I need to check, we have a representative from the Greater Manchester Police.
I don't know how to follow on. There's been some very, very powerful stories that have been told. The only thing that I want to add really is just how important it is for people to report when there's a hate crime. It's quite often that when I'm around and about speaking to people, they'll say that this has happened or that's happened. And when I ask if they've reported it, usually they say no. And when they say that they haven't reported it, it doesn't come through to us and we can't map it out or we can't measure it, and then we can't divert resources to try and challenge that type of behaviour. So I'm listening to these stories, and there's some powerful stories and some amazing work happening. And I've been making lists of the people that I want to get in touch with afterwards, which is going to be really useful for us, I think. But all I can say is thank you for having us. We are here, and please, 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 if I can send out one message from GMP, is to make sure you report it so we can challenge this type of behaviour. And it's not always about challenging it robustly and dealing with a criminal matter, but it's also about speaking to people and educating people. So when we was hearing earlier about, I think someone was saying, was it Samia talking to a neighbour, that conversation that you have with a neighbour to try and educate them and then being nice to them afterwards is key as far as we like to deal with situations. That if we can have a conversation with someone and then show them that person who they would originally not know much about and probably be a bit afraid of, if just by speaking to them and you can develop some sort of common understanding, whether it's over food or whatever, breaks down those barriers and develops those community links, and then next time they're less likely to use that derogatory language or treat people unfairly. So for us, it's about we can potentially be the link that tries to bring those people together if someone is uncomfortable having those discussions. But yeah, all I can say is report it. It's not always about, police aren't always there to escalate things and start to prosecute people. We also, where we can, is try and support people to develop conversations and try and break down barriers where possible. But yeah, thank you for having me, and I look forward to hearing more stories, really.
Zaman, thank you so much, Busy Zaman. It's nice having you. So that's the word. Please report it. And at the same time, if we live in peace, if we all live in love, there won't be anything to report. So let's take that one. Let's try and live in love. It's easy to love somebody else. It takes you less energy to love, and it takes you so much energy to hate somebody. So please, let's bear that in mind. Thank you so much. So moving now to the next item on the agenda, I have a lady here. Well, she's a poet and she's a TV host. She's into amazing stuff, and so I'm not going to steal her thunder. I want her to come and tell everybody about herself. So please, let's make welcome Adeyinka Adewumi from Beautiful Mind. Thank you.
You are guilty of what I'm about to share yet today. I don't mean the person sat next to you. I mean you. No, not the person in front of your screen. I mean you. Yes, you. You're still wondering why you are guilty of what I'm about to share here today. I just plead with you to give me a few minutes of your time, and by the end of what I'm about to share, you'll be able to know why you are guilty of what I'm about to share. On one beautiful Sunday morning, I was on my way to church, and I got dressed in my gorgeous dress, and out of nowhere, a guy threw water on me. You witnessed the incident, and what happened? You did not care. I was at the bus stop checking the time for my next bus. Then a little boy went to her mom and said, "Mom, who is she? Why is she different from us?" I was expecting the mother to use the opportunity to educate the curious boy. Listen to what the mother said to the child. She is a monkey. She belongs in the jungle, and we don't have anything to do with them. The patient spat at me. Exactly what he did. And my land manager was there, witnessed everything. The patient spitting at me and asking me to go back to my country. And I expected justice. But what did you do? You are on this platform. Yes, I heard you because what you said that they keep ringing down in my head. You repeated exactly what the patient said and asked me to go back to where I belong. As if that was not enough, when I was leaving the job, they got me a card that the front page was full of gorillas. You got the message, thanks. And now don't you sit there and start pointing at my boss, because you all signed the card. You signed the card. Yet, on another job, I was at the staff area making a cup of tea for myself. Then I saw these two receptionists, and as soon as they sighted me, they started gossiping. You know how they do it? Yeah, you gossip as well, you know. And then one of them came up to me and asked who I was, and one of my colleagues introduced me to her, and she went further to say, "You need to listen to this." I thought she was one of the cleaners. Yes, you heard me right. One of the cleaners. Because in our head, people like me cannot do any other job other than cleaner. Being a cleaner, that is what we are good for. And you were there. You witnessed it. What did you do? Nothing. Nothing. Your guess was as good as mine. It got to me. I couldn't handle it anymore. You're still wondering why people like me are more in the prison and in the mental institution. I thought I was not going to be part of the statistic. I tried, but I went down. Because all I constantly hear is, I am not good enough. I am too aggressive. I don't belong here. Pardon me? Come again? I don't understand your accent. What are you wearing? You don't belong here. You belong in the prison and in the jungle. That's hard. I constantly hear. So I was admitted into the hospital. And I thought the hospital is the place where your neck, your head need to be fixed. Because I can show you that my head was really polluted and needed to be fixed. But I'm going to share with you what I went through even in the hospital. Remember, I told you that I am a Christian. And as a Christian, just because I have a mental illness does not mean I cannot pray to my God. And anytime I am praying to my God, praying in other tongue and speaking in tongue, what do you see it as? I am delusional. And the more you see me as being delusional, the more you give me medication. And what does the medication do to me? It makes me to sleep. Just because I believe in God. And when I tried to call the attention of the injustice that was going on in the hospital, I was tagged as being aggressive and not medication. I heard you all saying one day, we need to restrain her now. And you know, we need more men, more people to restrain her, because black people are aggressive when it comes to being restrained. And then lots of you came to restrain me, to pin me down. Oh, because I am black. There is still more to share, but I want to end my story here. Please, I really need you to listen to this carefully, because you might be wondering, why am I sharing this story? I am sharing my story to promote something in you, to provoke something in you, and not to promote more hatred or division. No! Capital and home, because we have enough of that already. I am sharing this story to make you aware that we all have the same blood flowing in our veins. We are human beings, first of all, before any race, before any culture, before any religion, before anything. We are human beings. Please treat me the way you want to be treated. Let us promote love. We want more love. Be the change that you are asking for. Be the change that you want to see in the next person. And end hate crime. Because it is disgusting, it is dehumanizing, it is not good. I am challenging you today to be a voice for the voiceless, to speak for somebody that does crime. Speak about it. Stop it. It is not just the job of the policemen to stop hate crime. No. It is everybody's job. It is a collective job. And we have to do it together. We have to play our part. Let us play our part in stopping hate crime. Let us promote kindness, humanity, love, and this world will be a better place for you and I. Thank you.
Thank you.
powerful. Let us promote love, not hatred. Let us promote love, not hatred, so that this place can be a better place. Let us leave this world a better place by promoting love. Thank you so much, beautiful mind. That was awesome. That was really awesome. So now the next thing we want to do, yeah, is to have a question and answer. All the guests.
Could I, before you move into that session, may I just tell you a story? In England, since 1966, and I was 10 and a half years old, landed without any education, a severe disability where I was bent double. I'm a Pakistani. All stories were fantastic. Was Takos, and that's given me a task that I'm going to embark on as from today, and that is the issue about interracial hate crime and differences, etc. that we have. We've got a number of organizations that actually got to talk together to tackle this, and the world will be Rochdale in particular will be a much better place. I'm a Rochdale councillor. I love Rochdale, and anywhere I go is the centre of the universe. So I will be taking an action to try and bring the different groups together, and I will need Sharing Minds and various other organisations to come on board. So thank you for that, and it's a fantastic initiative that you've embarked on, and hope that a lot of people will, even if they haven't been affected directly by hate crime, should know that it still exists. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor. Thank you so much for deciding to take action with other organizations. We will be glad that you do that. So I've got Nadia.
Oh, hello.
Yes. Hello. Yes.
Hi. Hello to everyone. I just want to say this is outstanding Zoom call I've attended, and but what I would like to emphasize on is that I want to look at a humanitarian level. It doesn't matter what religion, race, culture, or sexual orientation you come from. End of the day, we're all human beings. We need to embrace each other's culture with love and respect, and learn from each other rather than putting each other down. And when I know the lost people must have suffered pain and bereavement through their experiences, and I would never undermine that. But I just want to say, we just look at on a bigger level that we're all human. We all should live with love and peace, and that should be the main message. We shouldn't do stereotyping like mistreating people. Mosque, for example, going to the mosque, that is heartbreaking because that's a place of love and peace and prayer. I think people who are in charge or control of as teachers, they should.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So it's question and answer time. Please, if you have any question, you can use the reaction button to raise your hand, and I'll call you. All our guests, okay, I can see, yes. Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just very briefly, I would like to say, and I'll emphasize on this one. I am whatever I am because of the education from my mother and my father. When I was very young, you won't believe this one, we migrated from India, we came to Pakistan. And my mother, she sent me to a church, and I completed my primary education in a church. In my childhood, she used to sit with me, and she used to ask me, I say, son, you get everything free. You have my love and guidance and advice, and it's all free for you. The sun give you sunshine, moonlight, air, and water give you life. Do you pay anything for it? And I said, no, Mom, I don't I'm blessed to have all these. And she used to say, I would like my son to be like that son. It shows your light, your love, your respect should be for everybody. And I am, to be honest, people know me, how I love the community here, everybody. You know, I have been to all churches, I've been to all mosques, and I love everybody. People like Nikki, I feel very honored. Then when Nikki says to me, my daddy, and I call her my daughter, I think that's the love we need to share. One thing, one incident which happened to me, I was in, used to live in a state, I won't mention the name, but what happened there, I was in Pakistan with my daughter, and my wife and with 2 sons, they were in that state. Somebody put the paraffin oil through the letterbox. We suffered a lot of racism there. But when when this happened, my wife and my 2 children were there. As soon as they found out, they went to the council office and we were moved to the place where we live now. So when I returned, I found this one. There were 2 choices for me. One was either to stand and keep saying about racism, this and this. But I was thankful to my next door neighbor when he was coming from the pub late hours, and these people were intercepted, and my wife and my 2 children, they were saved. From that time, I became member of the Rochdale Area Watch Association, and now I'm part of Greater Manchester Neighbourhood Watch Association. So for the last many years, I have been making sure that everybody is safe, because what happened to my family, I will never forget. And I'm thankful to this gentleman who was my next door neighbor, who was reasons for saving the life of my love, respect for everybody, is give you peace, give you respect. And I'm thankful to all people of Rochdale. The honor, the respect I have, I think this is the main reason I never thought of going back or moving to any other town. And I'm really grateful to all people here, councillors, council, people around, people like Nikki, who have given me, the reason to live. So thank you very much indeed for listening to me.
Thank you.
Love, peace, respect for everybody, irrespective of their color and creed and this and this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Love, respect for everyone. So we need to respect one another, irrespective of their color or gender. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Yes, I can see Mr. John. Yes, please, your question.
Well, it's not really a question, but I just want to agree with Tell Mama about passivity. I'll come to that later, and also education from Samia. Passivity. My wife's Nigerian. She's been 55 years, and like many other immigrants, has to take it on the chin. No blacks, no Irish, no dogs. So she had to cope. But what the change has been with Black Lives Matter is that we're not being passive now. It mustn't be aggressive how you respond. It must be like the young lady who talked to a neighbour and explained things. I had to explain to 3 people, with all respect, all claimed they weren't racist, why Black Lives Matter was important. One was my daughter as a teacher. I couldn't believe that, I've got a cousin, a lady, a couple of years younger, a workman who was a friend of my stepson who's Nigerian. And they said, yeah, well, it's bad, but I'm not racist. I can't understand it. I had to spend 10 minutes explaining to why it was so important after all this time to keep fighting this in a positive way, and so these are not people who come from a background that's where they've been exposed to racism, where it's not in them. But that doesn't mean you should be passive. That's why our group Bold, which is Bold in our local democracy, I thought, well, we're all between 55 to about 85. we're going to do our own little protest. And one of the things talking about passivity that I picked up from the Black Lives Matter was white silence is violence. And I think it's a very good message. We can't sit back as white people and say, well, it doesn't affect us. It does. It's important to speak out. So that's on the passivity. I don't want to spend too much time on that. But it's important to do it and talk to people whenever you get the chance and explain things. Because they can't. Unless you walk in somebody else's shoes, you cannot understand how they're feeling. You've got to learn to do that. Yeah, Samia, the big weapon is education. I don't want to spend too long on it. But one of the things I was quote, and Billy, Councillor Billy Shearingham know this one, he'll have watched South Pacific no doubt many times, is the line in there, because if anybody doesn't, and there might be some of the young ones not seen it, it's basically South Pacific, and it's about relationships, right? It's about American airman falls in love with a Polynesian girl, and it's about an American lady nurse who falls in love with a Frenchman. The line in it, as Rogers and Hammerstein wrote, is you've got to be carefully taught to hate all the people your family hates. Well, that applies whether you're Asian, black, white, yellow, whatever. There are many cultures where it's bred into them. It's bred into them, right? Well, that means all groups.
Can we have Catherine, please? Catherine? Catherine?
Right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry, I've got my child just running up and down in the house, but yeah, it has been a fantastic day. It has been a fantastic session, and I'm really happy with what is happening here and all the testimonies that we are hearing. They are all fabulous. And I just want to just give you a hint that hate crime is not a joke. And according to statistics, in Manchester, we have over 5,191 crimes that were recorded by Greater Manchester Police in the first half of 2019. And we also had 103,379 hate crimes that were reported nationwide. And that took time, it made other people, probably 12.7% to be more precise, of people who took time off work because of hate crime. And also, 4.9% of people lost their jobs because of the effect of hate crime. So it is not a joke. It's not a joke. So now is the time to raise the banner of peace, of love, and humanity. It's time to celebrate diversity in our classrooms, in the hallways, the boardrooms, the pathways, across all cultures, our religions, beliefs, and races. Remembering the 3 R's: respect for self, respect for others, and responsibility for our actions. And I'm sure that we all can do that. Coming here together is a sign that we are responsible people and we want to see change happen. And I want to make 2 quotations before I leave. Firstly, from Martin Luther King Jr., and he said that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So reflect on yourself and ask yourself, do I still have love or do I have hate? And what should I do about it? Because whatever you have, it affects the next person. It affects the next generations. And finally, from Maya Angelou, an American poet, and she says, still arise. And I'm saying this to every person who has been a victim of hate crime, to say, you know what, you can still rise. And she says that you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I will rise. And that should be our resolution today, to say, amidst all this chaos that has happened in our life, we have come here to stop it. It's time to give it a kick, like what Antoniki was saying at the beginning. So let's go on and rise, and let's go on and celebrate diversity. It's a colorful world, and we are all blessed to be a part of it. Thank you.
And I would just have one reflection for me as somebody working with the council with community safety, is how we bring 2 things together. So we have crime, which is behavior, hate incidences, verbal abuse, damage of property on the one side, and we get police reports. So that's one side. And then rightly so, everybody has emphasized the importance of the humanitarian. Where does it all start? It starts with prejudice, with lack of knowledge, prejudice, and then maybe some hateful thoughts that people have in their own heads that they're not sharing. So there are these two different spaces, and I think we need to figure out how we bring them better together, and how we don't have separate conversations. And events like this is an attempt to do that, and that's really great. And that's one thing for me to take back on when we deliver hate crime training, maybe, that it's not just to deliver, this is where you report. And you've seen in the chat box, I'm just going to repeat as a community safety officer, you've seen in the chat box where you can report 101 if you want to report something, 999 if it's urgent immediately, or use the web link that was posted there. So those two things, and that's maybe something for those of us that are engaged in this work. How do we bring the two together, that we're not just operating, there's the crime space and there's some people call it the humanitarian space, the community space, because they influence each other. Spectrum, it starts here with prejudice and then it ends up with a hate crime. And in the worst case, it could end up with a terrorist incident, because that's just another form of a very extremely violent hate crime.
It's not all about reports. We want to pick out AIDS in our community. So when we pick out AIDS, there won't be anything to report. That's the angle where we stand. Thank you so much. It's been amazing having everybody. We still have 68 people on this in this session. Thank you so much. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. This event has been put together by Caring and Sharing Rochdale, supported by RSCP, which is the Rochdale Safety Community Partnership. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And please, let's take one thing to our community. Make sure you practice the 3 R's, which is respect. You need to respect yourself first. Respect your community, respect the other person. When you give out respect, it will always come back to you. When you give, whatever you give out, the universe will bring it back to you. So that's the way it is. So please, let's take anything from, if we are taking anything from here, we don't want hate crime to continue in our community. We want to kick it out, and we want to be in one accord. We want to live in unity. We want, where if I do something wrong to you, you can call me without spreading hate about me. That's the way we should live our life. Thank you. So I'll call Auntie Nikki now to round up this session. Thank you so much, and see you soon. God bless.
Wow. What can we say? We give glory to the Almighty God that make today possible. So we want to say a big thank you to our dear mayor. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the councillor Janet, all the councillors that are here. We really appreciate you. We say a big thank you to our Rochdale Council, Saver Community Partnership. We appreciate you, Emma Carlo. We say thank you. Our boss, Sanjemia. We say thank you. Thank you to Khan. Thank you for being there all the time. Thank you for Tell Mama. We say a big thank you. Fairledge Park High School. Thank you very much. We say thank you to Miss Lucy for making this possible, and to all the teachers. We appreciate you, and we pray that our partnership will go a long way. We can work together in our community. We say a big thank you to Samra from Near Neighbor. Thank you very much. Mary Equality, Equal Education. We appreciate you, Mary. Thank you very much. We say thank you to Beautiful Mind. You are a star. Thank you very much. Anita, we cherish you. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody. Samia from the support sister in Berry. Thank you very much. Tower Cult, thank you for your testimony. A big thank you to all the volunteers. Without you, we can't do this. All the volunteers and our trusting, caring, and sharing, I say a big thank you. Thank you, my daddy. Thank you, Reverend Mark. Thank you, John. I say thank you to everybody. Thank you very much. And we are having another event in the March, 18th of March is Women International Day. So it's going to be massive as well. So we'll be looking forward to all of you to join us. Let's practice love. Love is the most thing in life. Thank you all. Love you all. God bless you. Bye for now. Oh, Nana. Thank you, Nana. And our police, Zama. Thank you as well. We said a big thank you. Caring and sharing is part of Mama, Health and Poverty. A big thank you to Rosalie, our share lady, and a big thank you to all the mamas. Thank you all. I appreciate you. A big thank you to Councillor Sultan Ali and Councillor Wendy Cox and all other councillors that are on board with us this afternoon. Thank you.
Pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon be gonna change. We are a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need.
We are the ones, we are the children. We are the ones who make the better days forever.
There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. Well, send them your heart with someone else, and their hearts will be stronger and free. And so we all must lend you a helping hand. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.